Why, hi there, and welcome to the DoDCast. Today, Ricky Keeler talks with Nick Rickles, a catcher in the Washington Nationals organization and on the Israeli baseball team in the upcoming World Classic.
I definitely appreciate you taking the time. First off, I know your time last year at the Nats, you only got to play in a few games. I think it was like 25. But how would you describe your first season in the organization coming over from where you were with Oakland's organization?
So, being in any new organization, this is my first time being outside of Oakland, and I got drafted by Oakland in 2011, and that's all I knew. So, kind of like going to a new school, if that makes sense. You're kind of nervous to start. But it's funny, that was my first year being a free agent, and you go into spring training, and there's other free agents that sign, and, there's guys you had played against. Steven Perez is one. I grew up with him playing travel ball, so I honestly didn't even know he was with the Nationals. And you get in the clubhouse, and you see him, and he comes up and says hello right away, and you kind of feel at home. And some of the other guys, because no matter the level, Oakland's farm team never played Nationals farm team, so I didn't really know any of the guys. But the front office was great. Michael Barrett was, a huge help with catching and getting me on the same page of, what the Nationals teach compared to what Oakland teaches. And, it was fun, man. And it was my first spring training outside of Arizona as well. And I'm being from Florida, so it felt like I was at home, and then going through the season, being with the guys, the coaching staff made everything easy. The transition was great. And, obviously, only playing in a few games, it's hard to get on a roll, but, I'm excited going into this year.
So we'll get back to what your goals for this year are in a little bit, but I want to talk about the opportunity that you've had to have both in 2013 and this past September, getting a chance to play for Israel in the World Baseball Classic qualifiers. What was that experience like for you?
4 years ago, it was only my end of my second year in pro ball, so the coaching staff was unbelievable. The head coach was Brad Awesome, his hitting coach was Mark Loretta and Sean Green, and Gabe Kapler was out there. And at first, you're almost starstruck with the opportunity. Jock Peterson was on the team prior to him being in the big leagues, and Nick Fryman and Cody Decker, all these people that, have had big league time. And, being a younger guy at the time, you're almost in awe. And I didn't really understand the importance of it until we ended up losing, which is kind of sad to think about. But having the opportunity to play again coming in this year, there was like 6 or 7 returning guys from the original team, and being able to share insight to some of the younger guys that are now on the team, because now I'm a little more, more of a veteran in that sense, and knowing the importance of it and being able to come out of this qualifier with a win, it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience to be able to represent, a country, a religion. It's almost too big to believe at times with the amount of people that have your back throughout the tournament. But we're really excited to get going, and we're helping, bring baseball awareness to Israel. And a bunch of guys ended up going over there last month to raise awareness and start building baseball fields. And it was, we're doing some big things on and off the field.
Now, you guys will be heading over to South Korea, I believe, for the tournament next month. You guys are going up against some tough teams with Chinese Taipei, the Netherlands. As a team, I know you can't speak for the whole team, but for yourself, what kind of statement you think, you talked about the impact being in this tournament is, but what kind of statement you think your team's looking to make facing these 3 teams which are, people look at them as baseball powerhouses around the world?
Well, it's funny because a lot of the consensus around the clubhouse is we're very, very confident. We know we can play with anybody. We're not worried about the competition. We worry about stuff that we can control. We can control how we play, the effort we put forth, and the preparation that we have as an organization and the team. It'll be nice. For me, at least, I've never played across seas, so it's interesting to me to see how the game is either played the same, played different. You'll hear about all these guys having different pitches, and I guess for me, it's more of I want to see the competition that we're going to be up against. But when it comes to us being able to keep up with, for lack of a better term, a powerhouse that has been in the World Baseball Classic for multiple years, the experience and the confidence level that our team has going in, I don't think that we're looking at ourselves as significant underdogs. and saying that I wouldn't say that we're even scared of the competition. We're more excited to show how well-rounded of a baseball team that we are going into this. So I think we're going to surprise some people.
Now, does your off-season routine change because the tournament starts as early as it does, or do you go about your routine the same as you would any other year?
I pretty much have had the routine similar than every other year, just because spring training is anywhere from the end of February to beginning of March. So that's about the time we're gonna get going. I think our first game is March 6th in South Korea, and we're having a little mini camp in Arizona for 3 or 4 days at the end of February. So I just pretty much stuck to the routine that I had, staying healthy, getting your body ready for the competition and the grind of catching bullpens and being a catcher at the same time. And obviously, getting through a year healthy is goal number one. So the preparation and the off season that you put in is pretty much the same every off season timetable wise.
Growing up in Florida, who were some of your favorite players and teams when you were growing up watching the game?
So Pudge Rodriguez was one of my favorite catchers growing up. He was a Marlin for a while, and being a catcher, I like to, the way he plays the game is a lot the way I like try to model my game after. He had a crazy good arm and liked to bag pick and throw people out stealing, and that was something I've always loved to do as a catcher. Defense is something you can take pride in. If you have an over 4 day at the plate, but you throw out 3 guys, you still feel like you contributed to the win. At the same time, I guess I would say I was more of a, I wouldn't even say a Marlins fan. My dad's from New York, and he was a big Yankee fan growing up, but at a young age, I always said whatever team I played for was my favorite team. And at a young age, I understood that, I got drafted by the A's, so the A's were my favorite team, and now the Nationals are my favorite team. So, hopefully one day get to be able to put a Nationals uniform on is the goal, and go from there.
Now, a couple years ago, you missed the entire season because of a torn labrum. Can you take us through the rehab for that injury? And first off, how does your labrum feel now as you prep for this year?
So it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life. Getting hurt is not something you plan for, and I never had been injured in my career at all. So I got the news that I needed surgery around the middle of spring training, which meant that I was going to miss the entire year, which was kind of hard. But I've always been a very positive guy, so you really have to focus more on doing the rehab process correctly. A labrum surgery, you're typically sidelined for almost an entire year, and then you have a process of throwing programs, hitting programs to get back. My shoulder responded so well that I was back by before the next spring training. So I other than the year I missed when I was hurt, I didn't miss any extra time. I was back, I think, in 9 months throwing, which was 3 months ahead of schedule, which was great. But obviously, you don't know how to prepare for that to happen. So now my off-season routine translates into me being more healthy in the sense of what exercises I'm doing to strengthen other muscles and developing routine so that doesn't happen again.
While you were at Stetson, you got the chance to catch, I'm sure you caught a lot of good pitchers, but you got the chance to catch Jacob deGrom, who's doing really well for the Mets right now. As someone who caught his pitches in college, what stood out to you the most about him as your teammate?
His fastball, man. It was funny because he played shortstop for most of his career in college. And then I think it was his junior year, he transitioned to a pitcher. And he started off being a midweek closer just to see what he had, because he always had a good arm. And I will never forget that his first bullpen, I literally could have closed my eyes and he would hit my mitt every time. So we threw him into the game, and I want to say his first 3 or 4 outings had a significant amount of strikeouts, didn't miss a beat. He never got nervous either. He was always just having fun playing the game, knew the talent he had. So, that was one thing that impressed me, and obviously, the ability to play in the big leagues and control your emotions. And he didn't miss a beat when he transitioned. And I mean, look at him now. Played in an All-Star game, and I mean, he's had an amazing start to his career. So he's always a hard worker too. He was a great teammate.
So as you go into this season, you got WBC in the Nats organization again. What are your goals for this year?
So obviously goal number one, like I said before, was to stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, the one thing that you learn the longer you play professional baseball is to only worry about things that you can control. When you start worrying about organizational moves, playing time, outside of what you can control, that's when you start, mentally affecting yourself in a negative way. So my goal is to basically, any opportunity that I get, whenever I get an opportunity, to take full advantage of that and be prepared mentally, physically, emotionally for those times to be successful. So to get through the first year or the full year healthy, and then have a good year, whether it be statistic-wise or be the teammate that my teammates need and be the player that my coaches need. To be a real organizational guy is kind of what I like to do at the end of every year. Look back and see how I helped everybody as well as bettered myself.
Last question for you, Nick. For any Nats fans who are listening to this interview, what's the message you have for them?
That we play for them. A lot of people look at the minor leagues and they think that everybody is playing for themselves and that the fans don't matter because we're playing all over the place in different cities. But I'm a big believer in we're putting on entertainment for a city, for a state, and even though we're in the minor leagues and we're spread out between Harrisburg and Syracuse, our goal is to play in Washington, and having the fans have your back, whether it be Nationals fans that are in Harrisburg or Nationals fans that are in Syracuse or any other level. It means a lot when the fans show support to us. And I appreciate everything that they do. And obviously, the better I play, the better the team is. So I appreciate them coming out to support us whenever they get a chance to.
Nick, again, thanks for the time. We appreciate it. Good luck out in Seoul in March. Hope you guys have a big run, and best of luck to you this season. I'm sure we'll talk again real soon. Again, thanks for the time.
Absolutely. If you need anything else, let me know.
Thanks.
You can follow District on Deck on Twitter at District on Deck. Give us a like on Facebook as well. You can follow Ricky Keeler at Rickinator555 on Twitter and Nick